Hi, welcome to the Art of Becoming, and I'm your host, Bonnie, and I'm going to take you into the volume 1 of the Art of Becoming. Well, there was a lot of I want to be when I was young, but I really didn't ask what I need to be. I said I want to be an astronaut, I want to visit the moon, I wanted to plant seeds in the moon that would glow, that when I would bring it and eat it, I would have magical powers. But then I didn't do that. Well, it's a possible dream if I really ask, what do I need to be an astronaut? What do I need to actually plant something in the moon and cultivate it to grow? What do I need to eat it and cultivate magical powers? Well, I didn't really ask those, but if I had, it might be a possible dream. Well, the difference between the possible and the impossible is the clarity in between. Well, for example, you are in a foggy area and you've never been to that area before. You'll be probably confused, should I go front or backward? Because you've not been in that area before. It's a new environment to you. But if you are in your home or your environment, your streets, your community, and there's fog, you clearly know that this block is in this place, this house is in this place, this school is in this place, and even though you can see clearly, you know that, oh, for me to get to where I'm going, maybe I'm going to school. So for me to get to my school, I will have to pass through 3 houses, I will have to bend the road and go to the other side, the left side of the road, I will have to pass through, gates, and so on and so forth. That's because you know that, yes, this place I am going to just have to pass these steps. That's the difference between the possible and the impossible. The possible, you can be able to see it, you can be able to see, okay, this is possible. But the impossible, it feels just foggy. It's not something realistic. That's the impossible. Well, the Art of Becoming is going to tell you that as far as you can imagine it, anything is possible. Well, now that we're done with that narration, what does it mean to become? To become means to grow to be, to develop into, or begin to be. Now, I am going to be more specific about grow to be. What does it mean to grow? Well, everybody has grown. You're going to like this when you came into this world. No, you were a baby. From a baby, you became a toddler. From a toddler, you go into adolescent or so. Well, from there you go into a teenager, from there you grow into an adult, and so on and so forth. But it didn't come once, it was a process. So growing is a process. It starts from small and it does not start perfect. When you grew, when you learned how to crawl, you didn't just start crawling, no. You actually tried and you probably fell face flat. You tried again and maybe fell face flat. You just continue trying, and even when you thought that, oh, I must start this crawling, and you end up falling face flat again. Well, that's how growing is. Growing is a process, and with this process, you learn from what you do, and it's a process. You don't just decide that as a baby. Okay, maybe let's say as a teenager, you just I want to be an adult right now. Like, I'm tired of this control, I'm tired of that, you know. So, but well, you can't actually decide. It has to be. It has to go through the process. So now let's give a narration. A seed is meant to become a full-grown plant. But if it doesn't, what does it imply? Does it imply that the seed wasn't meant to grow, or does it imply something else? Well, right now it can imply other things, but right now I'm going to talk about growth. If a seed is brought to you and given to you, your first instinct is not to throw it away or to eat it. Actually, your first instinct is to plant it because it's a seed. That is what it's meant to be like. That is primary focus. Like, for example, a paint bucket is brought here and it's given to you, even though you are not told much about it, but just say, take it, it's yours. Your first instinct is not to use the paint to cook, no, or to use the bathe, no. It's to use it to paint. And of course, it's my coming creative way, not just painting a wall, my coming painting an artwork or whatever, but it might not come in just a simple painting the wall thing. It might come in any other way. But then, the first instinct you get when a paint is given to you is to paint. That is how a seed is, and that is how man is meant to be. When God created man, he said, go into the world and multiply. A seed, a single bean seed, can multiply into 1,000 bean seeds. So, what does it mean? That we are actually seeds and we are meant to multiply. That is what our primary assignment is on earth. And when you multiply, you begin to have dominion, because normally if a bean seed is growing at first, just sprouts, this, that, and these. But when it starts producing fruit, you see it starts occupying space. And what does dominion mean? It actually means occupying space. Yes, that's what it means. So you are a seed, and you should know that. In 2 Corinthians 6:12, Apostle Paul said that your lives aren't small, are not small. something that is multiplying. There's no way it can be small. It's impossible for it to be small. So your lives aren't small. You have to start believing that your lives aren't small. You have to start seeing your lives, that your life is going to create impact, that your life is going to produce seeds, because becoming is to believing. If you don't become into the full potential you are meant to be, you feel and you know that your life is actually going in circles. Well, if you watch fantasy movies, the reason why I love fantasy movies is because, funny enough, their lives aren't boring. Before you could be able to say how. Another trouble has added to the normal trouble that they had before, like it's just like an escalating series of troubles. Their previous challenge hasn't finished clearing, or maybe they just finished their previous challenge. Another is already popping up. That's how our lives are supposed to be. That's how a tree is supposed to be. That's how a plant is supposed to be. They are not supposed to be in a stagnant phase. They are not supposed to be steady, to just be there like a plank of wood. They are supposed to grow. And during growing, if you notice a corn farm, when it hasn't started producing corn, it doesn't attract birds to come feed on the corn. But when it starts producing fruit, it starts attracting birds to start feeding on the corn. So different stages of life attract different things, and we shouldn't actually see that challenges. We see it as a process, a fun process. The Bible says that we have these treasures in deep places. So that's it. There's a treasure in you, and it is the decision to be able to harvest that treasure. It is a decision to be able to harvest that treasure. So my brother, my sister, start working on your belief system. Thank you for listening. I love you, and God bless you. Bye.